here we are, hitting up events, drinking our way through Chicago beer, and trying not to miss a thing.
Yeah, because, the cork popped out, boom, it flies like fucking 10 feet. We're like, yeah, let's do it.
All you have to do is add some fruit, stir it up, and ride that milkshake wave.
Whenever I see him, I gotta take a photo with the most decorated brewer in Chicago, Jonathan Cutler.
It'll be like the stuff you hear. Every time you go to Floyd's, all the music sounds like this. Raw, raw, raw.
Sometimes you want a small beer, but really, you want a big beer.
You gotta take in all those big aromatic hops.
Hey, what are you doing this weekend? Waiting in line for a bottle release?
Should have never been a fad. The black IPA is delicious.
Hey, and welcome to Chicago Beer Pass. I'm Brad Chmielewski.
Brad, what's up, man? I'm Nik White.
And we're on location.
On location at Chicago's oldest brewery, goddammit.
Yeah, Goose Island Clybourn.
Yeah, man. We're here with pub brewmaster, Mr. Mike Jacobs.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, thanks for having us. Glad our schedules finally worked out. I know, it's just crazy for everybody.
A little back and forth, but
and now it's 2 days in a row we're hanging out here.
Yeah,
That's pretty nice.
Well, thanks. Well,
2 days, 2-day residency at Goose
Island.
Clybourn.
Yeah. We're closed tomorrow. I was gonna say, what are you doing tomorrow? You guys want to hang out?
I think we start as employees, and we're.
Shit, of course. My phone
Oh man,
rings,
the fire
immediately.
alarm's going on.
Yeah,
Oh, it's his phone.
Oh.
that's my phone.
Okay. He's got the weirdest. He's got the weirdest sound on his phone ever. Yeah.
Well, I have that tone because it makes sure it alerts me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can ignore it. Yeah.
Right. That's true.
Get that spooky tone.
I think this is our first on location since Bravinia.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we were in masks then. It was as they were just about to open the Chicago location. So this is awesome. I'm so glad we're finally getting on location with people again.
Yeah. If you haven't been to Goose in a while, I want to say this is the Carl Strauss room. I could be wrong there. At one point, it probably was.
We call it PDR.
PDR.
Or private dining room.
Hey
which
now.
is a less fancy name than the Carl Strauss room. So I don't know if that was a name that it used to be called.
Yeah, for a second it was.
Yeah, they didn't pass that info on to me. But yeah, now we're in a private dining room.
Okay. And even before that was a Siebel room, right?
Oh yeah, it has rotated. Yeah. For anyone who's been to the iconic Stout Fest, it was always here. It was in this room, and then it kind of overflowed into the next room.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, a lot of fun times in this building, man.
Right. It's almost closed. 3 times?
I feel like every handful of years they're like we're done. We're saying our final fare thee well.
I hope not. No. Right. I just get in the door and they're like, well, it's been a good run.
We made it through COVID, but now
now we're gonna end this. But you did a nice job.
We ran into you recently at a dinner. It was a flagship dinner, right? Is that what it's called?
I'd say the spring beer dinner, I think.
Beer dinner.
Right?
Or classics, back to classics. Is that what it's technically
I think
called?
I don't know what we named it. I know we were. I guess I could look back on it, but we were basically we wanted to focus on some of the beers that made Goose Goose Island. So we looked at Honkers. We paired stuff with Sophie, Matilda, some of the BCS, obviously. Yeah, that's too many but that was what we were looking at with that beer dinner.
Right, and this was our first time having Honkers in a while. I'm drinking one of them now, and even recently at the little tasting last night we were at, they mentioned that it's going to be on at the Beer Temple starting soon and a couple other places, so it may find some more love back in Chicago again. Yeah,
I hope so. I know we make Honkers here. That's not the Honkers that will be I guess out in the world, say at Beer Temple. But I guess we've been keeping that candle burning for Honkers here. It's one of my favorite beers. So I'm happy to see it back in production and back out in the world, and not just in our little corner.
Yeah.
Where we're
and when we were talking to you, we were talking about making it different, and Nick had a story about how it's really hard, or people have said it's really hard to make at the production brewery, and then here you said it's it's easier. Not that it's easy, it's easier.
Yeah, I came from Fulton, and I expected it to be a very easy beer to run through that system, and it wasn't. But here, I'm not sure of why those specifics are, but it is a pretty easy beer to make here.
Okay. Yeah, it's tasty. Like, yeah, having it a couple days in a row, I'm enjoying it. It's a good, like, it's almost like a beer you don't have to think about when you go to the bar. I always think of that, like, a daisy cutter. If I'm just at somewhere and I, like, don't know what to get, like, just give me a daisy cutter. So you show up at
Like,
Goose,
yeah.
and you're like, just give me a Honkers. I just got in here. I didn't even look at the menu.
That's exactly what you did when you came in
Yeah.
here, too. You were just, like, walked in, you didn't look at the menu, and just, I'll have a Honkers.
Yeah, it's literally the first beer they ever made. So it's pretty cool.
That's pretty, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned, so you started at, or not started, but you were at the production Fulton place.
Yep.
What's I guess, your backstory in general? Like, how'd you get into the beer brewing scene? Where were you before this?
So a couple places, I guess before Goose Island, I guess right before, weirdly, you mentioned being at Ravinia. I was at Ravinia.
Oh, right.
I was at All Rise Brewing before that as the head brewer there. Pandemic basically shut that down. They're open again, but
Okay.
During that time I went to work at Ravinia because it was a production job.
That orange beer there is, like, great.
Which
Or-
one? Oh, Three Orange
at
Wit? Yeah, Three Orange Wit.
That was, like, my favorite when I go there.
Yeah, All Rise. Yeah, there. And so then I went to Ravinia, and then I got. I had applied at Goose probably like a year before online or something, and then it just like popped up in my inbox.
Okay.
And then basically went to work there. This job opened up, and I thought I had zero chance at getting this job when it was like posted on the company board. But here I am, and still like,
Fucking A.
yeah, I still can't believe it. They must have seen something. I'm not sure what it is, but I mean, I'm super grateful and just like humbled by the opportunity to be here.
Yeah, there's some, like, so did you not think you were qualified to get it, or were you just, like, underestimating your skill, or, like, there's some, like, big shoes to fill in the, like, Goose
I think-
Clybourn, like,
I think it's all those things. There's like probably some layer of like imposter syndrome that like
okay.
Well, these are hollow
probably
balls,
like
right?
yeah, exactly, that like exists in your mind, whether regardless of how like good you think you are. Like I don't know, that you just feel like that can't be true, right? Like I can't have this job, you know, like
Yeah. It's like if I woke up and owned
know?
the Chicago White Sox, I'd be like,
yeah, right, or
well,
whatever.
this,
Like
this isn't.
this isn't right, right? Like
This
I
is all
can't
going to be over
having
tomorrow. This can't be.
job.
This can't
Yeah.
be real.
And I told the GM too here, like this is like this is my dream job. Like you can't get rid of me now. Like that, I'm embedded now. And then afterwards, I'm like, man, maybe I shouldn't have said that. You know, to be like, now we could take advantage of that dude,
Right,
because
yeah.
he like really loves his job.
Yeah.
You know.
It's pretty impressive, man. We're talking, Greg and John Hall, Will Turner.
Yeah.
Even John Nagotski, who's got some FOBAB medals under his belt. Nick Karan, if I say his name right. Yeah, just a ton of. Jacob Zambrano was public
Josh
master
Deeth.
here. Oh shit, Josh Deeth. See? Yeah, like a ton of people we all know in Chicago beer,
Yeah.
all brewed here. So
And that's where
pretty
I'm
cool.
saying I get that imposter syndrome. Like, I can't be in that chain of brewers, right? Like, my
Yeah.
name is on that list.
Oh, no,
you
you're
know, or
totally in
whatever,
the fucking chain.
You're
You're the
no, I
fucking-
know. But that's where it's like I have a hard time believing it's real. So anyway, I'm like very humbled by the opportunity, and I just want to like do it proud, you know.
Did you, coming from those other places like All Rise and Ravinia and wherever else, did you like the smaller place versus being at Fulton? Like, was it, people have said, like, you talk to brewers, they're like, you have to know, like, do you like the production side or do you like the brew pub side? Like, they are different, but you probably like one over the other.
Yeah, I think I prefer pub brewing. I think I'm a creative person, so I like the opportunity to like do different things, like brainstorm ideas for like recipes or what we could do differently. I like coming up with beer names, like all those things I really like doing. But there's also aspects of production brewing I like a lot, having done both. You can like, basically you come in and you know what's going to happen.
Okay.
Like I know like 3 days a week I'm going to brew Bourbon County for 10 hours. and like I know what to expect every Tuesday through Wednesday, you know, and there's not that pressure of, I guess, having to be creative all the time, or like, what's the next beer?
Yeah.
What's next? What's next? Because like once I, you know, like I brew this half, or like I always have to be on like, what's next? What am I doing next? What's you know, when are we going to put out this? And you know, where production brewing, you can just like settle into a groove. You know, you just try to make the best beer every time to spec to that recipe, and really hone in on that. So.
Yeah, and you got to come in, if a beer's not selling, you got to come in and be like, no one has drank my, like, pomegranate.
Yeah, and also then, like, with production brewing, I don't have to, like, look at Untapped at, like, 3 in the morning and be like, damn, what, half a star? I just don't like milds, you know, like.
There's a lot of that.
You know, like, so there's that, too. So I don't know, and you learn a lot production brewing, like, that is applicable in like a brew pub setting that maybe process-wise you would not be exposed to if you were just like doing it on your own kind of thing.
That's cool.
How does that translate, you know, the creative side and versus the, you know, the side at the production facility? How does that translate from a system perspective, right? How do those two systems compare to each other?
I mean, almost not at all.
Okay.
So, I mean, to a certain, in that they are both brew houses, they're going to work fairly similarly, but like the way things scale is not, I'm probably going to use the wrong word, like logarithmic. It's not going to be like, I'll just drop it down 20% because this is 20% bigger
It's not
or
like
whatever.
making a half batch of cookies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's
I'm
not
going to make
work
a
that-
smaller cake.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't work that way. So like the brew houses have different efficiencies, and
Yeah.
and especially at Fulton where you're using a mash filter, which is like a very different type of technology than what I'm doing here with like a lauter tub or whatever. But I think that's a cool aspect of working at different scale. Like at All Rise, I worked at like a very manual 10 barrel system. At Ravinia, it was 20 barrels. At Finch, it was 15. At Fulton, it's 50 barrels. At here, it's 15 again. So like I've kind of like bounced around to different brew houses, and it's cool to just like figure out all the different like quirks and how things work and how we're gonna make, you know, a brew day go well on each different one.
Yeah. So on the creative side, you're thinking of all these beers to come up with, new ones. How often do you dive back into old recipes that like Josh Teeth or Will Turner or other people may have like done? You're like, man, should we give this a try
Let's
again?
run it back. There's a ridiculous, more than any other brewery in town. There's
Oh
an
my God.
extensive catalog here.
So yeah, like I've looked back at the catalog. I mean, I got recipe sheets going back to '96
Yeah.
in that office. Like it is a deep catalog. So I haven't done it yet. I mean, I guess I had. So like I made Cubby Blue, which is a recipe. I don't know but that goes back a long time. I don't know exactly when, but like.
I don't know why. It was just at the or it was at the Wrigley Brew
Rest in
Pub.
peace, Goose Wrigley. Yeah.
Yeah, so I know that's like, so that one I'm running back, like, there's certain things like, and Honkers, the like Honkers I'm making here, like, I'm not gonna like reinvent the wheel.
Is
I'm
Cubby
brewing
Blue-
Honkers at this brewery, like, I'm gonna be like,
We're making
we're
Honkers.
making the Honkers, you know, like, I'm not gonna be
We're
like,
making
"No,
the
I'm
Honkers,
putting
man."
Mike Jacob's stamp on the Honkers, you know, like, we're gonna make Honkers, because this is the Honkers brewery,
Is
you know?
Cubby Blue that good, or was it better because you were like right next to the park? Did it have like some of that?
It's a blueberry hef, I want to say, right?
No, it's a blueberry blonde.
Oh, blueberry blonde.
And I
Okay,
feel
was
like
off.
Yeah.
it was either at Wrigley or another place.
The
Or not- they
plastic
put-
cup, because they
and
don't know how to
put
act
some-
over there.
They put some blueberries in it, right?
I mean,
I mean, it's a blonde ale. It is a blonde ale that we put some blueberries in.
Okay, but I feel like in the glass, I feel like I got it. Either it was there or like another brewery somewhere else that did a blueberry beer. They put like.
Oh, they
blueberry-
might. I mean, I don't know
Oh,
for
they
sure
hit you with
because
some
I
fresh
wasn't there when they
blueberries?
were doing it. But I guess I would not be surprised if like literal blueberries went into it when you ordered it.
Yeah, that's why. I think
Yeah.
I
Okay. Yeah.
remember.
Yeah. I thought you meant like at like brew process
No,
side. Like yeah.
Here's your glass.
That could have happened. I mean, I guess I wouldn't put it past that happening, but I can't confirm nor deny.
Yeah, I just
Whether
want-
that
I
happened
have-
at Wrigley.
I haven't had it. Like I haven't had it since if you ran it back here. I wasn't haven't been here when it was on, so I just remember it, and I don't remember if it was good or if I got it because where I was.
Well, we'll get you one, and you can see how you feel.
Okay. do I get
That's
blueberries?
another one I have not like altered.
Do I get blueberries?
Yeah. I don't have blueberries though. Like I don't think there's any. We could go to Trader Joe's real quick.
Now, did you now it's the Goose Island. Well, this is Goose Fulton, but it's the Goose Island. What is it? It's the Goose Island Barrel. It's not the Barrel Warehouse.
What are we talking about?
This
Here?
location. What is
Oh,
this
we call
location
it the brew
called?
house, Goose Island
Sorry,
Brewhouse.
it's the Goose
Yeah,
Island
yeah.
Brewhouse. Now,
But-
were you here before the renovation? Did you?
As
did
far
you-
as working for Goose Island?
Yeah,
No.
or did you come as a
I mean,
customer?
I had, yeah. I mean, I guess I don't remember the years exactly, but like, I mean, I was here in the 2000s
Okay.
and stuff like that. And you know, in between, I remember like I was probably here. Also, the second week it reopened after the renovation. I remember
Okay.
coming
Yeah.
here then too. So I was like, been a fan forever, and I'm like, Chicago born and raised. Grew up in Avondale / Logan Square. Since 1982. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you surprised? I was personally surprised that, I mean, change is inevitable, right? But there was a certain charm to this joint that, you don't get in most places. The loft and the cellar. And were you surprised as a fan or even as an employee when they decided, hey, let's revamp the bar? That's one thing, right? Revamping the bar.
Yeah.
But then let's actually revamp these little spaces in here that kind of made it memorable because, did that surprise you?
Yes, and I would say like I miss that too, but like I don't know, we have the memories, right? And then the future goes on, and
Well,
you
that
know.
bar, it exists over at the Fulton
That's true.
Brewery.
No, it's at
It's at
the Barrel Warehouse.
Barrel
in
Warehouse.
Sacramento.
Yeah.
Like the bar is still there. Like I love that bar, man.
It's a great
I
bar.
miss that bar. Yeah.
But thinking it back, it's huge. Like it was big in here. Like when you go to the bar now, it's like very open.
But, yeah. It was
and I was
like
like, you couldn't like see across.
yeah, they had like pillars and like
Yeah. It had a very library vibe, and it was the kind of place you could bring your parents, right? And it was like, but this has a lot more versatility. Yeah. So I get it. I understand things have to change. I'm just like, man.
No, dude, I'm like a big nostalgia person too. Like, I feel you on that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to happen.
That's true.
Like,
That's true. Yeah, this is the Grumpy Old Man
You
podcast.
just want
Grumpy old man
You just want the old man dark wood
like-
bar places.
That's exactly what I
They're
want.
going away
and
fast.
and leave it the fuck alone. Don't ever change it. But yeah, we should talk about these beers you're making, man, because you can come here, you can find BCS, you can find Honkers. Then also, I think the first beer I had was a Keller beer, and then I had a Hef, and then I think right now we're drinking a dry hopped Saison.
Yep.
Yeah, man, talk about some of the beers you're making, man, and why you're making those beers.
So I guess like creatively, like certain times I like to push the boundaries, but a lot of the times I like to just I'm pretty traditional as far as like beer styles and beers I like to drink. So that Keller beer for me, the ability to do like decoction mash here, to do that was like a big deal. And treat those beers properly. The Hef, a lot of work to do a Hef properly with the proper rests, the proper pitch rate on the yeast to get the esters and phenolics in that Hef the way we wanted it. That to me is like the most rewarding aspect of brewing. And then also with the Belgians, I like using different yeasts and to use Brett where it seems appropriate, and then to try to, use the hops and the dry hop to like complement those flavors. I think is an interesting challenge, something to do. So, we're brewing hazies that I think kick ass. I think we're brewing IPAs that kick ass, but these like more traditional styles are like what speak to me the most, as far as like beers I want to drink, beers I want to brew, that kind of thing.
Okay.
I want to say the first time I heard about decoction in general was probably at Metro, and I think it's like with the temperature changes in the grain portion, right? Like something
so
about the water temp changes.
It's actually with the mash, what you're doing is you're boiling a portion of it for a certain amount of time in order to increase the mash temperature. and then you recombine those two things.
Gotcha.
So that kind of creates different like malt flavors that you're not going to get basically any other way than like boiling the mash.
Yeah, that was always interesting to me. That the decoction as a concept. I was like, oh shit. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty traditional like lager process.
Do you work closely at all with the Fulton team at all? Like what they're brewing? Do they bring beers that they, like last night we were drinking the Bear Hug and they're like, oh, we'll run these through or we'll do a bigger batch and we'll run them through the tap room there. Do they ever like bring a supply over, a bunch of kegs and be like, let's put them on here and see how they sell? That doesn't happen. Like
No.
beers don't come over that they want to like test or vice versa.
Yeah, no, I think probably we're like probably a little hamstrung by like licensing.
Laws, okay.
Yeah, laws essentially. Like, so we can't just like drive beer from
Okay.
one place to the other. It has to like go through the distributor.
Okay.
So like,
That's how Haymarket is.
yeah,
They buy
so-
all that stuff from Michigan.
Yep. So like the Goose IPA, like that I'm not brewing here, like we buy it from the distributor.
Okay.
So like stuff coming from Fulton or the tap room would require being bought from the distributor. So that really small stuff that they're doing in the innovation department there, like our distributor's not going to make a SKU for like 2 sixtholes to
Right,
send
here's-
to me
here's
or
this
like whatever. Yeah,
Experimental hop. Like,
yeah. So that we get a little sort of like, but that runs through the tap room
Yeah.
essentially instead
Okay.
of here.
Yeah, I was just wondering if they like
But we
ramped
so,
it up a little more and been like, can you brew this one to see if does
Yeah,
that
so
happen?
we will do that, but those will be more like, I guess, less experimental and more like traditional things that we want to do. Like we did that historic Forgotten Half beer that was going to be like, where they like we're not like trying out something new. We're just like we're going to brew this historic.
That was good.
beer recipe.
I was
I
in
think
like
you posted that.
yeah, like a couple months ago, and I had that. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this was great.
Yeah, that was basically like they called it a pale ale from like 1910 recipe, which doesn't really resemble a pale ale the way we think of them today, but
Right.
just using 6-row corn, cluster hops, ale yeast. I mean, it's still very cool, but like so stuff like that will run through here versus I think more like I think they leave me to do the more like let me take the risks.
Okay.
For like, because like innovation, you're doing like 1 to 3 barrel batches there
Yeah.
versus here I'm like 10 to 15.
And
whatever I
people
run through.
going to the Fulton one they're going there for the Bourbon County. They're going there for like, they're not going
Maybe
there for
Sisters
like,
or some
let me
shit.
get that like experimental or that Cubby Blue or that like Forgotten Pale. Like,
Yeah. No, but all those are there. Like you could try like I know they have like 2 different cold IPAs
Okay.
that they're working on, like stuff like that. You can try like a lot of stuff that will eventually become,
could become.
yeah, not necessarily eventually will, but like could become, like whatever, like the Beer Hug beers were,
Yeah, they were just like
1 barrel test batches that were probably poured at the tap room before they became,
what they are now.
full production batches.
How long have you been pub brewmaster here? And then since you've been here, what beers are people gravitating towards? Or are there some that are just like people are ordering more than others, or is it all across the board just kind of even? Or how's that been working out?
I guess to your first question, I started in September.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, how long is that now?
Shit, because this is what
6 months, 8
Yeah.
months.
this is April. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, about half a year.
And I would say it was also fitting. Like the first batch I brewed here was Honkers too.
Right on.
Yeah.
right on.
Because that was like already like on the brew schedule to be like left to me, and then it was like I didn't have to like think of anything new.
Okay.
So I could
It's a
brew
good way to
Honkers
get
right away.
adjusted too,
Yeah,
right? From
yep,
coming to
totally.
a new spot, like, hey, I'm brewing Honkers.
Yeah, and it felt like so fitting. I don't know. It was like perfect first
Yeah.
beer. And then second part of your question, like I would say that like IPA is still king. I mean that's
Whatever the
as
IPA
far as
is. Like,
yeah.
I'm
So like the we did this hazy IPA, double IPA, Eye in the Sky. it's a recipe of mine. I'm not trying to like plug it or whatever. I'm just saying like
Hey,
it tends.
Talk
your
your
show,
shit, man.
man.
Yeah, no,
Talk
I
your
don't.
shit,
Again,
man.
like I'm just saying, like I'm a humble dude, like, but it's like it is. It tends to like top our like sales list at the end of every week, and then it's our Pilsner does really well. I also do an American lager that does real well, but like the IPAs are always mixed in. We tend to do a beer premiere every Thursday, which will be a new beer, and like whatever that beer is that week is up high on that list. But like consistently, IPAs are still the top seller.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time at JBF. Top category, IPA.
Hazy IPA
You
now.
know, so yeah, hazy IPA. Second most popular category, double IPA.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
like that's who we are as a country, right? We're,
No, I think so, and that's where
so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Well,
And those are
there's-
beers. I enjoy brewing them. I enjoy the challenge of making them be beers that I want to drink too.
I think they're also the biggest because you can do a lot of stuff with them. Like
There's range,
if
right?
you're like brewing a Bach, there's a Bach. Like
Right,
you
and
can't
they-
like let's dry up that and put
Yeah,
it on
and the people
oak
that like
and-
Bach are gonna be like they're gonna hold you to those Bach rules versus
Right.
like the hazy IPA. They're
This motherfucker threw Nelson
It's
Sauvignon
in that
in my
Bach.
Bach.
yeah.
He's not dumb it down.
Well, I put cryo-mosaic in this saison.
Yeah. This is works. And I will say, man, like, we've been here a couple times, but, I've been trying to focus
This
on
week?
we had a couple
Yeah,
times.
a couple times this week. Yeah.
But everything I've had has just been kind of effortlessly drinkable, man. Like the Hef, the fucking Keller beer. They're just like very cool interpretations of the thing. Like there's no sharp edges. It just all is just like, it does what it's supposed to do. Like it tastes good and it makes you want to engage people that are around you. And I think that's noteworthy, because some places you go and it's not like that.
Well, cheers, dude. I appreciate that. Yeah,
It's definitely
yeah.
not like that.
I'm trying to make drinkable beers, I guess,
Yeah.
all around.
Well, and it's a spot. Not that people don't live around here. It's much more. There's more happening now, especially with the mousetrap here. People hang out there.
Yep.
Back in the day, it was like coming to Goose Island Clybourn was like, what are we gonna do afterwards or before?
You used to go to U.S. Beer Company, man. You remember U.S. Beer Company across the street? You remember that shit? Yeah.
I went to DePaul, so I did.
Yeah.
I've had a few rounds at U.S. Beer Company.
Yeah. So back in like
Plastic cups too over there. all
late
the time.
90s, early 2000s, I was in a lot of bands and I played a lot of shows over at that U.S. Beer Company too.
Yeah.
And at Goose Wrigley. I played several shows at Goose Wrigley. I remind Daria, the GM, about that several times, that we probably like crossed paths where I was like in a band or whatever and like, but like just
on the
hanging
little
out there.
stage back there.
Yeah,
And there was a
fucking-
room here. Like I definitely played a show in this room too, right?
in the old Carl Strauss room, man.
Right in the Carl Strauss room. I definitely played a show in this room too, for
They
sure.
had like a little setup.
There was like a
I
little
mean,
stage
'cause
right
it's
here,
either here
but it
or
was
the patio,
bigger
right?
because, unless I'm like misremembering, but because like Brewhouse wasn't here, right?
This was a
Well,
pool.
I know
this
it
was a
wasn't.
pool
That was the
table.
pool
There were
table.
steps. There were steps to the
Yeah,
loft.
pool table, and then like that little room down
Yeah,
there.
private.
So I think this space was like a little bigger. Remember, there was a stage here. I definitely played a show in this room too.
Yeah.
That's a more weird part of my like complicated Goose Island history. I've definitely played shows at both locations, pub locations before.
I kind of missed the Wrigley location.
Dude, and for the longest time, Oktoberfest was at Wrigley because Wrigley had the patio.
Yeah.
Wrigley,
And Night of the Living Ales.
and Fobab. Fobab was through there.
Well,
Yeah,
like,
there was
way
Fobab at
once,
Wrigley.
Yeah.
So
Is Night of the Living Ales gonna come back?
they do it.
Yeah, it happened.
Are you listening, Steve Hamburg?
That was the last thing I went to right as COVID hit, and it was
Dude,
like
same.
it was like hitting, and one guy had gloves on, and me and my friends were like, we're not
Right?
sharing.
Because it was March,
Yeah.
the
They were-
last day of the Living Ales or
Yeah, I'm
whatever.
like,
yeah.
we're not sharing beers. They're like, no. And
Yeah.
like, what is this thing? And it was at Bottom Lounge, and it was it was a little uneasy at that moment. So
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know if it comes back, but it wasn't a great turnout, I think, possibly because of the COVID
Yeah, the COVID or
happened.
whatever.
So
you were there?
yeah.
I was there.
It was my first time in a while I'd been in. I don't know. there was better Night of Living Ales. I don't know. I feel like it's very hard. That audience of Firkin beer drinkers is hard to find now. I don't know, right? Like it's tough.
Day and Night of Living Ales. That was a good party. When I first got into beer, that was good. That was a good
Yeah.
hang. But you guys you were saying earlier in the pre-show, you guys had 3-1-2 day here.
Yeah.
How was that? How was 3-1-2 day this year?
I mean, it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, here, it was great. Yeah. We had a good turnout. We had, John Hall was here. Shandyman was here.
Oh man, the Shandyman.
Shandyman was here. Yeah, we did.
Shandyman's got that cane.
We had a couple of variants of 3-1-2 that me and assistant brewer Luis, we each did one.
Different than the
version.
grapefruit and the strawberry?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we did our own like in-house versions
cool.
of 3-1-2. So I did my inspiration was Baja Blast, the Mountain Dew.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty dope. I think I nailed the Baja Blast.
Seems like a good one for
Flavor
420 yesterday. That probably would be good.
Yeah, I should have brought that out yesterday too. Did that, and Luis did like a ginger and pomegranate one, which was dope too.
Oh, that sounds
Nice.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
So yeah, it was a good time. I was here early and then late. Yeah, it was a good day.
We talked about being kind of ground zero for, just some serious beer history in Chicago. Have you, do you ever just kind of randomly see former brewmasters or just employees just kind of come back over time and just kind of say, hey, what's up? I'm in the area. I just want to come check the joint out. Show me around kind of thing. Does that happen?
I mean, besides we see like the Fulton people all the time.
Yeah.
You talk to Keith Lemke, comes in quite a bit. Yeah, I think
Ray Daniels. Ray
Daniels is out there right now.
Yeah,
Yeah. John Hall comes in here a couple times a week. I mean, these are like people I wouldn't be seeing otherwise. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Cheers to Steve Hamburg, by the way, man.
Actually,
I
Hammy.
Stevie.
Yeah.
Stevie, man.
Yeah. I love him. So weird backstory on Steve Hamburg too. Found this out. So I don't remember how many years ago. While I was still working at All Rise, I got a silver tut at Day of the Living Ales for like a bitter I did.
Right.
And so then, like they took a picture of me like shaking Steve Hamburg's hand, and then like I posted it on my Facebook or whatever. Like, here's this one Day of the Living Ales or whatever. And then my mom like loves to like repost those things and was like, here's this. My son invented this beer that won an award or whatever. And then like she reposted it, and then like her friends or whatever like, they were like, I don't remember how it like sorted out or whatever, but like then Steve Hamburg was like, he's like, is that Jake's kid? And was like, so like my dad and Steve Hamburg used to be on a bowling team together. Like back in the day or whatever. So like they're like old friends and shit. Like, and I had no idea of that. So now like whenever I see Steve Hamburg, we like talk about my dad and like whatever, and like the bowling team days or like whatever. And he knows all these friends. Like I remember when I was a kid, like my dad's bar friends or like whatever, to be like, oh, how's your Uncle Dan? Or like just like weird connections that end up happening just based on like weird shit like
Steve
that.
Hamburg
Yeah,
knows everybody.
Yeah.
And yet he's not really in the beer scene because he worked at like a computer guy. Like I don't know how to. I don't. And it's like, but you know everybody.
I'll tell you real quick, man. My Steve Hamburg story is I used to run with this crew called Beer FX, and we used to host these events. It was a panel discussion, 3 brewmasters and me. I'm asking all these questions. Or the Fobab documentary at fucking in Bridgeport.
Yeah.
The first person I called whenever I had to do any project was Steve Hamburg. I'm like, Steve, what do I do? Where do I go? What do I talk about? He's like, get your ass over to Goose Island. That's where the shit started.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, but he was always somebody I always reached out to ask him, like, what direction do I go with this shit, man? In the beginning, so yeah, cheers to Steve, man.
Yeah, same. Love that dude. And I've been here like 2 or 3 times since I've worked here too. Yeah.
I feel like the last time I saw him was probably that Night of Living Ales. So.
Yeah, we talk about cask beer all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, and that, I guess, like funny story is like 2 years running I got silver tut to Goose Island Clybourn.
That's funny. At All Rise?
Yeah. So like, you can't beat them, join them, I guess.
Oh, man.
How'd you get roped, or how'd you hook up with the All Rise thing? Because that system, like no one remembers, but that system came from moonshine.
Well,
Which,
yeah,
right?
I know that.
And so, like,
Yeah,
I'm
that
not,
came from moonshine. Well, same
I love
ownership.
moonshine. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I'm like the only person that
little
remembers.
fucking
It was
baby
like
cups.
little cups. They were like
Yeah.
$3. We're like, we're going to moonshine. It's $3 beers,
Yeah.
and they brew them there.
You took a baby food container and took the wrapper off.
That's what you got.
That's what
how you
the
got
that's
that
what the
food.
flight was. You get 5 of those, and that's your flight.
And that brew house actually came, so I like did some research on it while I was like working there. That brew house came from some little brewery, I think it was Nebraska.
Oh, okay.
It was made in like 94 or something, so it's like
okay.
very old school brew house. It's dope though, man. I love that brew house. Like I miss it to this day. That brew house is probably my favorite brew house to work on.
And it was probably great because all the goose people just go there for lunch.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
that was literally
Yeah.
the only spot there for like a long time, and so I know like Ken and all them marketing team, they just hang out there like all day.
Yeah, well, Cobra Lounges, I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a dirty dive bar. You would like it.
I like Cobra. I've been to Cobra.
Yeah.
I've been. The only reason I know about Cobra because of the fucking Goose guys.
Yeah. So Cobra Lounge seems like they
Buffalo
it's not
chicken wrap
updated,
and
yeah.
orange wit. That's how you go.
Yeah.
And always like
And
inappropriately
those
dark.
they smoke the wings. It's like the whole wing.
That's the thing. They had good food.
Good wings. Yeah,
Like,
good food.
dive bar with good food.
Gilmore's the shit. I'm gonna throw props to Chef Gilmore there too.
So
What was the question?
I was like, how'd you get synced up there?
idea
But
what we're
that
doing right now.
more or less, did that also help you maybe transition to Goose because they were all coming in, or just
No, I mean I don't think that because that at that point I was already like basically like laid off because of the pandemic from All Rise. But whatever we joked about like Finch is right there. I worked at Finch, and I worked at All Rise, and I worked at Goose. And, like the joke is like I'm filling out my punch card for like
seen you on tour,
on tour and
Central.
and I don't like I actually right after I accepted the offer from Goose, Mark at On Tour offered me a job at On Tour, but it was like I'm gonna go do this or whatever. So like I really need to like just like finish out the punch card. And,
At least
go
do,
work
like-
at Great Central for a
Do
little
like
while
a
or whatever.
collaboration,
like do something.
beers,
Yeah.
so you'd make that happen.
But I got the job at All Rise basically like they were doing when their brewer left, they asked everyone in the neighborhood to do like a collaboration beer with them in order to like just have beer. And I was just at like basically my end of my rope there at Finch and did a collaboration beer. And then the GM was like, "Hey, do you want to just be the brewer here?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do." Yeah. So yeah, that was it.
It's like a story, I don't know, from like movies or stuff like that. It's like, you're drinking here. Do you just want a job?
Yeah, it was like that. It was like, yeah, you made that one beer here. You want to just like be the brewer here? I was like, sure,
You're
yeah,
already-
I'll
you're
do
already
that.
here.
Yeah, I'm here now. So yeah.
So you were at Finch by the time they moved into that location. Were you at Finch at any of the other two?
So so we were talking about this a little bit. So like I was basically like, yes,
Okay.
at Elston and
The-
at
The Montrose
yes the
Oh
Finch
yeah.
Kitchen. Yeah.
What became
Twisted Hippo.
and
Yep.
it's now
Yeah.
nothing. Yeah.
Yep.
But, okay. So you've seen the story. We don't need to get into this story
No.
here.
We'll
But
do
The
a
legend of Finch. Man.
Yeah,
it's the most bizarre story of the last 10 years.
We'll
Probably
do
Finch Brewing.
we'll do a special episode. Like, very special episode.
That should be our in-person event thing. If we do something, just invite everybody out that used to work at Finch.
I mean, we would have a good time.
Yeah.
It would be a good.
I mean, and then we get all the way to the bottom of this Finch thing, right? Because it's got so many tentacles and it's just so weird. And everyone is still active in brewing. It's actually pretty amazing.
On that whole, just a side note, me, Ken Huntemeter met Ben Finch like way back when he first just had product in his he had like a condo over by United Center, and he's like, "Here, try some of my beer."
It was like in the bottles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then
And
I heard it was. So I never had the beer in the bottles, but I heard it was very good in the bottles.
Yeah, it was better than we thought it should have been. What are you doing? Just a random beer in your house? And why were we at his house and over there? I was like,
So
looking
many
back
questions.
on it.
Yeah.
Damn. All right, so 312 Day was here, and then we were talking Stout Fest is back, right?
Oh, yeah. Stout Fest will be May 22nd this year. So we want to bring it back in person, inside, to showcase those beers that the Chicago breweries are making.
Nice. Do you have
stouts.
something planned that you're gonna offer, or you got other things you're doing, or you got something special you're thinking?
Yeah, I got some special things that are not announced yet.
Okay.
But there'll be some special stuff we're doing.
It's May 27th. That's basically the end of Chicago Craft Beer Week, right? It starts
No,
on
that's the week before.
Okay.
Yeah. I
All
think.
right. I think it's May 13th it starts.
They need you. The Chicago Craft Beer Week needs you, man.
I think it starts
'Cause
May. It's just the week after.
No, I think, so the,
Week after, yeah.
yeah. So our Stout Fest is the Sunday after the end of
Okay.
Craft Beer Week.
We were saying that, as much as we love the Guild and we respect what they do for laws, but after Bug, it all kind of fizzles out. As far as
a
like
big
things that you
closing
remember.
party.
When I was a kid, but what is Finch now? The old Goose warehouse. They used to do. Everybody would go get all their stuff. They do golf. They do indoor golf at
Or
different.
Sunday Fun Day.
Sunday Fun Day at fucking
Dodgeball.
At the warehouse.
Man, I missed dodgeball. Yeah. I don't know if that's like a thing. I guess it's not. We would know by now, right?
Right.
There were other things that were just as cool as Bug.
Yeah, totally.
So they need you, man. Stout Fest is not,
Well, here it is. I'm sorry. It's not like exactly
we'll
in
just-
Craft Beer Week, but
we'll
it's
just
going to be like the
pretend
week right
that
after.
Beer Week lasts
Yeah, we're
2
gonna
weeks.
Craft Beer 2 weeks, and then we'll have Stout Fest right
It's
after.
2022, so it's 2
Yeah,
weeks.
2022.
Yeah. I don't think there's very many parties better than Stout Fest.
That one year we went to Firkin thing at headquarters,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
we came here, and
Like
we
right
were
after.
not in
Yeah.
great shape.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah,
That was a classic
yeah.
too
Stout
fun.
Fest is a heady one. We're gonna do like 2 sessions this year too. I don't think we did. I guess I wasn't here last year, but I think we just did 1 session. We were gonna do 2.
Yeah, I think last year was
this
like limited. It was like a small, like almost like
It-
private.
We did it right out there in that.
Okay.
Whatever
Little-
that built-out patio right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
we
And
did it out there.
at one point there was I want to say there was a trophy, like the gigantic.
So the trophy's back.
Gigantic trophy, right?
I just Cruz Blanca still has it, so they're gonna bring it back. Yeah.
It rivals the Stanley Cup in size, and then actually you can drink out of this thing. It's like a big ass fermenter.
Did we watch?
Yeah.
Was it Microphone or Phase 3 that won that year, and we watched them drink out of
They
it?
chug out of it.
Yeah.
That's the coolest part. You can
You're like, "Just that."
you can drink out of it.
Damn. All right. I'm excited for that. Awesome. Well, anything else?
We touched a lot. We touched a lot. It'll be 2 hours if we keep going. Even though we could keep going.
going.
But this is cool, man. I'm really glad we got a chance to do this. I think we went to the fall dinner, and then we went to the spring dinner. And at spring dinner, we're like, man, we kind of like the vibe here. I wonder if Mike will hang out with us. So we're glad we got it on the schedule, man. So thank you for joining us. This was cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cheers, dudes.
cheers.
Thanks for doing it. And, yeah, anytime, man.
Yeah. Cheers. Thanks for listening. Yeah. Check out the episode, chicagobeerpass.com, and we'll be back soon. Take care.
Cheers.
Yeah.